everyone. Welcome to This Simple Budget. My name is Veda, and I'm so glad that you've joined me here today. This is my first ever YouTube video, and I'm super excited to see where the channel goes. Just to give you a little bit of information about myself, I am a 38-year-old stay-at-home mom. We operate a family budget on a single income that will be changing in the future, but for now, this is what we're working with. I wanted to make this video so that I can set up my cash envelopes, my cash budget envelopes with you, so that in future, I can just point anybody back here for an explanation of my categories, what they mean, and so that it serves as a resource that I can use in future for anybody with questions. This is also going to be a good opportunity for you to get to know me a little bit, because I'm going to kind of walk through each envelope, each category, which I always think is a fun thing to watch in other people's videos, to get to know them a little bit, what they like to spend their money on, what their goals are, because that's really what this is. This is short and long-term goal planning. It's financial in nature, but that really does feed everything that we do in our lives. So hopefully this is content that you enjoy, and if it is, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. I'm gonna just go ahead and jump right in here to the binder setup. Okay, so first up is my high priority sinking funds binder. This will house everything that is a high priority in our household. So things that we really do need to make sure that we have money set aside for, because they are important expenses. Full disclosure, we are not 100% cash budgeters. And actually, this is my first foray into cash budgeting and cash stuffing. In past, we have tried implementing other digital systems, but they really, I'm not going to say they didn't work. We didn't work. But I really like the motivation behind cash budgeting and cash stuffing. And I really think this is something that our family can maintain for ever. So that being said, let's jump right into the binder setup and category explanation. What in the world? Okay. These binders are good in theory, I think, but holy smokes, whenever I watch people stuffing them, like getting them to stay open seems like such work, and we'll see how long I keep these. But anyway, let me go ahead and grab my envelopes here. Okay, first up is groceries. And groceries, we have kind of two different categories for it. I mostly shop at Trader Joe's for the bulk of what we buy grocery wise, but I do have a Target account, the red card, because it gets you 5% off of each purchase. And so that is something that I don't have an envelope for, because it really does just make the most sense for us to keep certain things digital, simply because of the fact that, those are credit card or debit. It's not a credit card. It's a debit card expense. And it's just easier if I keep that money in the bank. But this will cover groceries that are not purchased from Target. Medical is next up, and it is exactly what it sounds like. This covers co-pays and any random bills that pop up that maybe we did not expect or plan for. Oh, and just so you know, I pre-stuffed all of these with cash trackers that I made because I'm a person who likes to double and triple check things. So even though I do have an expense log, I just really want to make sure that I am staying on top of what I'm spending and how, and tracking each envelope makes the most sense for me. And so that's why I did that. But I pre-stuffed them because I just didn't think that that was something that you all wanted to see. So next up is car expenses, and that is going to cover maintenance on the vehicle, but then also our tags and registration expenses as well. Home maintenance, again, exactly what it sounds like. Hopefully we don't have to tap into this. We did build in a neighborhood and move in over the summer. And so I'm just crossing my fingers that we don't have to utilize this anytime soon. But it doesn't hurt to stuff in advance because you just never know. Taxes. This is going to cover the cost of our tax preparer, but then also if there's like an unexpected tax, like we didn't have enough withholdings or something like that, we are thinking that we are going to have to pay this year. But we'll see. We'll see how this all pans out. Clothes. This is an expense for us that comes up much more frequently than I wish that it did, but my husband and I are tall and our children grow, it seems like crazy weeds. And so our clothing expenditures for them come up much more frequently than I think your average parent, but here we find ourselves. So clothes. Haircuts. This covers the cost of my husband's haircut, my son's haircut, and my daughter's haircut. My husband obviously needs his haircut more regularly. He keeps a short cut. My son has long hair, and so he just gets a trim here and there. And my daughter also has long curly hair, and so she doesn't need a haircut as frequently, but this covers the cost for all three of them. Finance coach. This sounds awfully fancy and awfully bougie. It is not, I assure you. This is an annual expense that my husband pays for a guy who watches all of the markets and advises where to move certain retirement funds. It is the best $60 that we spend because Guy really, really seems to know his stuff. We make more money than the average if you just kind of let it sit in like one fund or whatever and you're not watching it. This guy tells you where to put everything, and so we follow this advice, and it is definitely worth the $60 a year. So that's why this falls in high priority. I mean, look, if my husband lost his job or something, we would not continue to do this, but it's still a high priority for our current situation. So that is my high priority sinking funds. Let's move on to low priority. Again, we're gonna have to do the binder bending magic here. All right, let me just jump right in. Oh my goodness. I just flubbed trying to pick up all of the envelopes. Okay, first up is his. This is spending money for my husband. This is not initially going to be getting funded just because we've got debt payoff goals. That is coming up in my next video, an entire debt breakdown chat convo about how we plan to get out of debt. But I still created an envelope for it because I feel like, especially once I get a job, we do plan to fund this somewhat regularly. Although he is really not a spender. He never wants anything. I mean, getting him gifts is a real thorn in my side because what do you want? I don't know. He never wants anything. So anyway, that's his spending folder, or envelope rather. This is mine, and this funds my haircuts and what else does it fund? Oh, my lash lift. Goodness gracious. Like I could forget that. For those of you who don't know, a lash lift is a completely frivolous expenditure, but it's something that I really enjoy. It's like my little treat to myself. It's like a perm for your eyelashes. So you get it done like every 6 weeks. They do all of this voodoo magic on your eyelashes. And by that, I mean probably spreading toxic chemicals all over them. But I mean, it is what it is. And it curls my eyelashes, which I have decent length of, but they stick straight down. So I want a curl. Your girl wants a curl. So that's what this envelope funds mostly, with like maybe like a touch of stuff left over for me to spend on myself here and there. Home is just for home decor, or I mean, probably in future we'll stuff this up if there's a furniture piece that I really want, or a rug or something like that. But for the foreseeable future, this is not really going to be getting a lot of cash. We don't need it. We have furniture, we have decorations, and I probably could go through and sell some if I'm being perfectly honest with myself, which I should probably be doing in order to keep my budget simple, but I digress. The home envelope. Dine out is exactly like what it sounds. We don't eat out very often, if at all, actually. So this mostly funds just a little Chick-fil-A treat every now and then for my kids, like on an every other weekend basis. Otherwise, I'm pretty diligent about cooking from home just because I have a really sensitive system and I have a particular diet that I have to stick to. So dine out is not something that happens very often. Dates. Given that I just said dine out is not something that happens very often. Dates also doesn't get funded super regularly, but we do throw a little bit of cash in here because sometimes my husband works from home, and so we can go grab some coffee together or something while the kids are at school. And we also, what's the word I'm looking for? We kind of childcare share with a couple friend of ours. So like every other month, I'll watch their kids for a night so they can go out on a date, and then, on those off months, then they watch my kids so that we can go out on a date. So this really, it's actually a really great way of having an inexpensive date because you're really just paying for, the cost of whatever you're doing, whether it's just like drinks or dinner, you're really just covering the cost of that instead of childcare too, because babysitting is so expensive now. So, not to be like back in my day, but I charged $5 an hour and I thought I was in the money when I did that. And now it's like $15 an hour for a babysitter, sometimes 20. It's absolutely insane. So if you can do that, go for it. Do some childcare share with a couple friends and get you a cheap date. Work meals. This covers the cost of any time my husband maybe goes out to lunch with a coworker or something like that. Mostly he takes his lunch to work with him, but on the off chance that he doesn't, this is available to him. Miscellaneous, again, another exactly how it sounds. Every now and then you do have those expenses that pop up. Oh, that's my coffee machine yelling at me. Sorry about that. You do have those expenses that pop up that just come out of the middle of nowhere. And this envelope is funded specifically for that purpose. Last up in here is garden. You'll notice that I don't have a cash tracker in here. I'm not sure how and when I'm going to be funding this, but I do have plans and goals this year to do a little bit of backyard container gardening. I'd like to, I already have some seeds and stuff available. I'd like to grow some of the veggies that we eat on a regular basis. Just because, one, I think it's kind of a cool thing to do. I'm kind of a horticulture nerd that way. But also my kids and husband eat a ton of veggies. And so that will cover or help to offset the cost of some of that. So that's my plan. It's why it doesn't have a cash tracker, because it doesn't have an immediate funding plan. And that is the low priority sinking fund binder. Last up is holiday sinking funds, and this is going to cover holidays and just like those random off expenses that you pay for, maybe not all that regularly, but you want to make sure that you have money for. Again, with binder bending drama. Here we go. I think I got it figured out. Whoops. Okay, first up, here, let me just grab all of these. Now these, I do have those zip top binders in because these are things that money is just kind of going to be sitting in here for a good chunk of time. And I just figure it's better to zip that away rather than have open access to it, because these are things that I'm going to, like these couple of front ones, they're ones that I'm going to be pulling from more regularly. These back ones, like they get pulled from once, maybe twice a year. So that's why I chose to keep the zip tops in here. First up is gifts. This covers birthday gifts for my kids, birthday gift for my husband if he decides he wants something, and then any other gift expense that we have throughout the year, whether it's like a birthday party for my kids' friends, or if we want to take a bottle of wine somewhere for a hostess gift, that sort of thing. That's what this covers. Partay. Oh, hold on. This didn't go in there. Bugger. Partay. First of all, that's a Friends reference for those of you who don't know. I'm a huge Friends fan, and every now and then I do reference lines from the show, and it always confuses people in my life who don't know, but maybe you're one of them. And so partay was a Ross reference. He referred to a party as a partay. This mostly is just going to cover birthday parties. I do like to host, but most of the things that I do are like simple things like a wine and cheese night or something like that. And I just pull that out of my grocery budget. I don't really feel like it's necessary to fund that in particular because I'm pretty good about coming under budget for groceries. And so covering extra wine and cheese and stuff is not that big of a deal. So partay will just cover birthday parties. That's going to be like invitations, decorations, and the actual food for the event itself. I guess, so I will link where I got these stickers below. I bought them from an Etsy shop and I can't remember the name of it right now, but I'll go back and look and then link that so that if you guys are interested in these, you can go grab them for yourself. Valentine's Day, no shock here. It's for Valentine's Day. This is going to cover the expense for like candy and treats and Valentine's for my kids' classmates. But then also I treat Valentine's Day, don't laugh at me. I treat Valentine's Day a lot like Easter. So I say that Cupid came and delivers them just like, some like little chocolate goodies and maybe like a stuffed animal or like a balloon or something like that. But so this is funded entirely for that purpose as well. Easter, same thing. Easter bunny, and all little like Easter trinkets and gifts and stuff. I don't fund if I buy them like a special Easter outfit for church, I don't fund that from this. I just buy it from clothes because I never buy an outfit that only serves one purpose. So if I buy them an Easter outfit, it's because it will be something that they can wear all the time. I don't I don't buy my daughter like a fluffy dress that she'll never be able to wear again for any other purpose besides Easter. So that's just how I do it. No judgment. Just saying. Vacation. This is exactly what it sounds like. It's for vacation. We do want to go to a couple places this year, so we will be funding this, but this is not something that's going to come out of like a regular paycheck. It will be like a Magic Month funding or something like that once we kind of have a handle on where we want to go and what we want to do. So back to school. This will predominantly cover school supplies. I may, if there's like leftover money or whatever, I may buy an outfit or two for my kids, but because they grow so frequently and we're replenishing their closets so regularly, that will primarily come out of the clothing budget, and this will just cover back to school supplies. Here we go. My goodness. Halloween. This is going to cover Halloween candy, my kids' costumes, and maybe a little treat for each of their classes. It just depends. We'll see how we fund it and how much we have left over from the priority Halloween things. Thanksgiving. I like to host Thanksgiving, and so this will be covering the food, but also I'm like a psycho crazy Thanksgiving baker. I like so many different pies and treats and things like that it's very difficult for me to just narrow in and say like, oh, I'm just going to bake an apple pie and a pumpkin pie like a normal person would. I have to be extra, and I bake like 4 or 5 pies and a cheesecake and tart and roulades and all this kind of stuff. So it really does need its own funded envelope. This is not something that can just come out of a normal grocery purchase. So that's why it has its own envelope here. Christmas, the big mamba jamba. This is I swear, it feels like the biggest expense of my life, despite the fact that I have a mortgage. But this is going to be getting funded regularly to prep for the Christmas season. My goal is to have it mostly funded by November because I do like to hit up early sales, and also just the relief of having Christmas shopping done early and not be running around like a crazy person in December and still looking for gifts for people. So the goal is to have it funded by November. Hold me to that. Zoo. My kids are still zoo attendance ages. And so we always like to join a zoo where we live. We have moved a lot in the past, and so the funding for this is always different depending on where you go. We actually live near a really nice zoo now, and so we're going to be taking some like extra miscellaneous funds that we have and funding this initially with that, because we do want to join very soon, because we go often enough that it offsets the cost of a membership. So that's what this will be for. Then after we purchase our initial membership, then I'll be funding this regularly in order to either renew it for next year, or if we decide not to renew it next year, we'll decide what to do with that money then. But I'm pretty sure for the foreseeable future, zoo is going to be a regular expense in our house. Okay, I know I'm called the Simple Budget, and I'm called the Simple Budget because I'm not really like planning on delving into lots of savings challenges. I am a keep it simple, stupid kind of person. But I do think it's fun to take rollover $1 bills, put them here, and then when this gets so fat that I can't stuff it anymore, I'll move it towards a sinking fund that maybe I feel like I'm a little short on or whatever, and just introduce a little bit of fun into my budgeting plan here. And so that's why I have included that envelope in this binder. Ooh, that was a tough one to close up. All right, that does it for this video. I'm so glad that you guys stuck this out with me. And I hope that you'll stick around for future videos. Next up is going to be a debt chat. And buckle in, because it's going to be a big one. It's a doozy. But I think the best way to go about having a channel like this is to be completely transparent and accountable for what I have done in the past and what we plan to do to change that in the future. So that's the big motivator here for being completely open, sharing all the debt with you and how we plan on snowballing that away, getting rid of it, and what our goals are for the future and saving for those things. So thank you guys so much for watching. And please do like and subscribe to my channel, like the video, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a great day.